restricted free agency, sometimes the organization makes sure that they don't even get to market and they go ahead and give them an extension. Other times they'll let the market set the price and then they decide either to match or not. Zach LaVine had bad feelings when that happened to him. Mm-hmm. Do you kind of have an assessment of where you are if they let you walk and see what the market says and it might not be a great price? Do you get bad feelings? Will you have bad feelings about it, or are you just like, that's the way the business is?
No, well, I mean, for one, I haven't really thought too much about it. I mean, the season's just finished, so I've tried to keep my focus. And obviously, contract's been in the back of my mind for a while. Like, I understand it's coming up this summer, but and I understand where it's at as a restricted free agent and what that looks like. But in terms of, you know, the offers, where they come from, whatever they are, I haven't thought too much about it. So those things will happen when they happen. It's obviously going to, you know, free agency's July 1, so you can sign after then. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I understand the business side of it, but also I haven't thought too much about it, you know, past where and when a contract will get done.
Yeah, Josh, when you came here, you said that you want to really prove the type of player that you are. I mean, we've talked about your season a lot all year, the ups, the downs, the positives toward the end especially. But how do you feel like, what do you feel like you learned about yourself this season? Do you feel like you got to prove what you're capable of this year?
Yeah, I think it was obviously the start of the season. Just I feel like I just couldn't get going, and I mean I've said it a number of times, but obviously coming into a new situation, I never wanted to come in here and step on any toes. I thought the team that we had, you know, I was trying too hard to fit in and to please everybody, and then I think probably, you know, post deadline All-Star break time, I started to just play freely and be me, and I wasn't trying to make it, you know, all about me or anything like that, but I felt like, you know, post-deadline, we as a team found another gear, and a lot of guys actually took it to another level. And as the point guard, you know, the ball's naturally going to be in my hands a little more, so production started to go up and up. We started to win more games. I thought our back half of the year was phenomenal, and I think going into the summer, those are really positive things you can take. But for me, I thought, yeah, the start obviously wasn't where I wanted it, but I think as the season progressed, I started to find my feet within the team a little more. And as the season went on, confidence grew. It grew as a team as well, and I thought we finished the year the right way.
Julia. Josh, kind of building off that, you talked to us about wanting to improve your defense from basically day one that you got here in Chicago. How do you assess that growth that you had this season, and where do you feel like you can kind of go in terms of continuing to build that in the future?
Yeah, I think from the start to where we are now, I think I've taken a leap in that area, and I think the start of the year it wasn't even close to where I wanted to be, and it's always been an area of emphasis to me that I wanted to improve on, and I'm not, you know, delusional. Like, I'm never going to be an elite lockdown defender, but it's just about effort and trying and wanting to do it on that side of the ball, and I think that changed probably from, you know, I still remember the Cleveland game we had in Cleveland the first time, and how upset I was after that game, the effort I put in that side of the ball, and from that point on, I tried to make an emphasis that nothing like that was going to happen again, where it's just, you know, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to get blown by. You're going to miss blockouts, rotations, but it's a matter of effort and wanting to do it every possession down the floor. So I made a conscious decision to you know, do that. And as I said, it wasn't always perfect. And I thought our defense, not just mine, but as a team, we really picked it up the back half of the year. And a lot of it was just will and wanting to do it. So that's an area I want to continue to get better at. I understand postseason basketball defense really shows up. So we want to be there as a team. I want to be there as a player, and it's something I got to continue to get better at.
Couple more. Sam, go ahead.
I know you've addressed this many times during the season, and actually just addressed it a few minutes ago. But you talk about that break, about the All-Star and coming back, and you had the time to. But when that happened, the Bulls were kind of 12 or 14 games below 500, kind of what seemed like out of it. If people are shopping for Josh Giddey, whether at the Bulls or somebody else in the next, you know, this summer, how do they know which is the Josh Giddey they would be buying? The one in the first 50 games who was not, like you say, playing to your level, or the one subsequent to that, but at a time when the team was maybe not looked upon by the rest of the league as a serious competitor?
Good question. I think The first half of the year, as I said, it's a new situation, so naturally there's going to be an inclination to come in here and try to fit in. That was my initial mindset. I never wanted to come in and try, not ruffle feathers, but change the whole dynamic of the way guys played and the way the team played. But I think it took me a little while to find my feet, and obviously trade deadline happened when Zach got moved, and he was obviously such a big part to what we did here, and it kind of opened up, avenue for other guys to step into, and I saw that as an opportunity to take on a bigger responsibility, both sides of the ball. And, I think from the 50 games at the start of the season, it was just two completely different players. And not even talking statistically or anything like that. It was a confidence level, an aggression level, effort level. So there was just so many things that changed throughout the year. And I think, obviously, if you compare the statistics, they look, very different. But for me, it wasn't about that. It was about how hard I played, how much I tried to lead these guys, how connected we came as a team. And as a point guard, a lot of that falls on your shoulders. And I loved having that responsibility. And, we finished the season 15-5. I thought the way we ended the back half of the year was the right way. We did it together. We did it collectively. So in terms of what teams are getting, if you ask me to sell myself, I'd say the second half of the year player is who I am. The first half, it just completely different guy. Confidence was probably down. Aggression levels were probably down. Trying to fit in too much. So the second half of the year player is who I am. It's who I've been, and it just took me a little while to get back to that.
Josh, kind of piggybacking off of what you just said, do you feel like you have more to prove?
Definitely. I think as a player, winning's the pinnacle of this sport, and I haven't won anything. I think that's what you get paid to do. Teams pay players to win games, and I've got to continue to figure out ways to do that. And it's never going to all be on me, but a lot of that responsibility is on the starters, the guys that play big minutes. So it's both sides of the ball. It's got to be done every night. It can't be a pick and choose possession thing when you want to do it, when you don't. So we've got to figure out. I've got to figure out how to make that an every night thing and continue to win games. And it's what you get paid to do. It's what everyone gets paid to do. So, that's where I want to get to as a player. The stats and individual stuff is great, but if it doesn't accumulate to winning, then what's it good for? So that's where I've always viewed it. I've been on both sides of the spectrum where I've been the team with the worst record in the league, obviously with the Thunder, we were the best record in the league, and now we're kind of somewhere back in that middle ground. So I've been at all three ends of the spectrum. I know what it's like to miss the playoffs, to be in the playoffs. So, the feeling of missing it obviously hurts. Every player wants to get there. You want to aspire for a championship every year. But at the same time, you've got to understand you can't skip steps in that process, and it takes time to get to that level. So, clearly we weren't at the level of winning a championship this year. We showed on nights that we can compete with championship-level teams, but it's just a matter of being consistent, doing that over the course of 82 games. And I think we have the pieces here to do it. It's just a matter of not skipping steps, sticking to the process, and I truly believe we have enough to get to that point.
Josh, I'm just curious. Obviously, last summer you had the Olympic commitment. What's going to be kind of your routine this offseason? Where will you be based? What will you be working on? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm going home. I'm actually going home tonight, so pretty quickly. Yeah, back to Australia, and I'll try to get some rest for a little bit. Usually I start my summers within a week. I take a week off and get straight back to it. But just with this injury, I'll probably take 2 or 3 weeks to let it calm down, and then I'll head to LA in the middle of May. I'll be out there for a while, and that's pretty much where I'll base myself for a lot of the summer. So it'll be back and forth between Melbourne and Australia, but between LA and Melbourne, I said Melbourne, Australia. LA and Melbourne will be where I'm at for a lot of the summer.